Hi, welcome to the second video for RoomTracker. One of the things I want to cover now is an item called value parameters. So we'll open up value parameters. Now the value parameters are in this case here, we've defaulted to the products item. So products these will be the items that you add to an invoice. So we've got, by default, we've got accommodation, agent payment, beer, breakfast, cash payment, check payment, credit card payment, deposit. These are all default ones that come through. You can at any time add or delete items from here, so we'll take this particular item and we can delete it. Yep, he's gone. Or we can now go add a new, and we'll do that now. So we'll add new. So up here we've got a description. So what we'll do is we'll call that we'll call it FPOS. There's no unit price because it's there's no default value for it. It's a credit. If you want to have an inventory code for your accounting system, like such as Xero or MYOB, you can add that in there. There are some other options here that you will need to know about. So we've got this first one here, include on owner's invoices. If you've got our apartments module, this is important for that. So that will be covered in a different video. You may not want to add this item to the guest invoice for whatever reason. Commission payment, whether or not it's a payment that's going to go to an agent. Payment received, so it's going to be a payment received, and add to agent invoice. Most of these options will be covered in different videos, but this particular case we're going to do add payment just select add payment received. So we'll save that. So now we've got a new item called FPOS. It's a credit and it's a payment received. Okay, so that's the product. So that's how easy it is to do. So in this particular case here, we've got a breakfast. The unit price is $15. So you can either have it as $0 or with a default value, which will be when you go and add it to the item. As you saw may have seen in the previous video where we added an item to the invoice, it automatically brought this value through. Room sizes. There are room sizes allow you to, this is basically just a descriptive item. It has no real use to the everyday use of RoomTracker, but you're able to put in there things like 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, whatever type you want to put in there. Room types. So these are the room types. So the room type is what the different types of rooms that you have at your location. So in this case you might have some 1 bedroom units, some double units, and twin units. The room code, if we double click on here, we can add in a room code. So the room code is used for when you're syncing RoomTracker with your online reservation channel manager. If you have that module, then you'll be able to use this. So that room code will be whatever it is on your channel manager. Alternate room charges. So before, if I close back out of here and add a reservation real quickly, this button here we pressed in the first video that had no items in there, alternate room charges. So that's what we're about to edit now. So if I just close this, I won't create that. Go back to value parameters and go back to alternate room charges. So if I add a new one, so let's say frequent stayer, and you've got a base rate of $140 for them. So that someone who stays quite frequently, instead of getting the room rate of 150, they actually get 140. Or you can do peak season, and in this case it's now actually going to be $180. So if I just close that down and we go back into here again and go add reservation, now we can go click on here, and here we've got some alternate room charges. So if we say this is a guy that's come back, he stayed a few times, and automatically adds it in, or we're in the peak season, it adds it in. That's where that option is used. Some people use it, some people don't, but the option is there to add them in there if you need to. So I won't save that. Let's go back to the parameters. Right, extra people. So you can charge, you may want to charge extra adults at $20 a night and extra children at $10 a night. Now you need to specify the minimum adults before charging. So you want to have, it'll be your minimum of so 2, so the third guest will be charged extra, and it might be the same for children, so you can add that in there. So that means that if you've got 3 adults staying, it'll be an extra $20 a night. If you've got more than 3 children staying, it'll be an extra $10 per child per night. ID types. So if you want to record what type of ID that they've given you to prove who they are, you can once again add a description in here. Credit cards, the type of credit cards you're able to receive. Payment type, cash, FPOS, and reservation source. So your reservation source, this was the, if I close that down again quickly and go back to here, so your reservation source was here. So we've got email, fax, internet, mail, phone, walk-in. Alright, so if we go back to value parameters and we go back to reservation source, we've got email, fax. Those are the items that we saw. So we can add a new one in there, and we might say Skype, because you may have received a Skype call. So now we've got Skype in there. So that's roughly the information you need to know about the value parameters. The main one that you'll probably deal with is this products, because you may add or remove products at as you need to. The main thing to remember is when you're doing it is that if it's that if you put something, a value into here, that will be the default value. You can override that value, that's fine at a later time if you need to. You can leave it empty. Debit or credit, you must select debit or credit. If you don't want that to go onto the guest invoice, the value to go onto the guest invoice, you tick that one. If you're adding a new payment source, so you may put in the bank transfer, you need to remember to select payment received. Otherwise, when you go to check the guest out, that item won't appear in the product list for when they check out to make it for recording that they've made a payment. So that's very quickly what it is. Most of the time you won't really need to come back into the screen. The only time you may come back into here is for products, and as I said, also for the reservation source. They are really the only 2 times you'll probably come back in here. These are set up mostly right from the word go. So I hope that's helpful.